Good morning. Welcome to another daily reading. This is today's daily reading. I just read yesterday's daily reading, which was fire. Matthew 23 is just a smashing piece of the fact that there were so many Torah created by the Pharisees and the Sadducees that was just abolished because it's the traditions of men that was thrown in the garbage, not YahWeh's laws. Anyways, this is Genesis 24 and Matthew 24. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only, and he's an extremely jealous El. He's so jealous that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. And Yah is short for YahWeh, YahWeh, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. It's like saying Dan, Daniel, Daniel with an E. What is the difference and does matters when people say that Phil, Bob, Sam, and Aaron are the same name, when no they're not, and no one in their right mind would ever believe that, and only a fool would believe that a hammer could force its creator to do anything, and there was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text, because the letter J is about 600 years old, while the son of Elohim, Yahushua the Messiah, sweat blood and was brutally murdered on a stake and resurrected for the sins of all of humanity over 2,000 years ago. And a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yeshua is short for Yahoshua, which is Joshua, and the son of Elohim's name Yahshua means Yah is salvation. Yah will save his people from their sins. Jesus is Greek for Hail Zeus. It has nothing to do with the Messiah, and it's a mockery to his name. And if you refuse to research that part and you just want to call him by that, I just want you to know that you're throwing away your own salvation. That's how bad it is. Yah is extremely jealous. So jealous he doesn't even want their names to come to our lips, and you're bowing to it. Trust me, you're throwing away your own salvation. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance may make you think that you're more comfortable than you are, but once you realize the majority of what is going on, there's no more comfort. There's no hiding. You can't just go back to being like, oh, that stuff didn't actually happen. This stuff isn't actually happening. And I was just on drugs the whole time, so I just assumed. No, you can't do that. Like, you can think you can do that, but when you actually do that, you hurt yourself more. Anyways, Genesis 24. And Abraham, A-B with a line underneath of it, R-A-H-A-M, was old, advanced in years, and YahWeh had blessed Abraham in every way. And Abraham said to the oldest servant of his house, who ruled over all that he had, please put your hand under my thigh, so that I make you swear by YahWeh, the Elohim of the heavens and the Elohim of the earth, that you do not take a wife for my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, K-E-N-A apostrophe A-N-I-T-E, K-E-N-A apostrophe A-N-I-T-E-S, among whom I dwell, but to go to my land and to my relatives, and take a wife for my son Yitzhak, Y-I-T-S-H with a dot A-Q. And the servant said to him, what if the woman refuses to follow me to this land? Do I then take your son back to the land from which you came? And Abraham said to him, beware lest you take my son back there. YahWeh, Elohim of the heavens, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my relatives, and who spoke to me and swore to me, saying, to your seed I give this land, he sends his messenger, so YahWeh, he sends his messenger before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. And if the woman refuses to follow you, then you shall be released from this oath, only do not take my son back there. Then the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and swore to him concerning this matter. And the servant took 10 of his master's camels, and left, for all his master's good gifts, fancy English gifts, were in his hand. And he arose and went to Aram Naharaim. Aram is A-R-A-M. Naharaim is N-A-H-A-R-A-Y-I-M. to the city of Nahor, Nah with a dot or, and he made his camels kneel down outside the city by a fountain of water at evening time, the time when women go out to draw water. And he said, YahWeh, Elohim of my master Abraham, please cause her, fancy English her, the one who is to be his wife, to meet before me this day and show loving commitment to my master Abraham. See, I am standing here by the fountain of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Now let it be that the young woman to whom I say, please let down your jar to let me drink, and she says, drink, and let me water your camels too, let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Yitzhak. And let me know by this that you have shown loving commitment to my master. And it came to be, before he had ended speaking, that see Ribka, R-I-B with a line underneath of it, Q-A-H, who was born to Bethuel, B-E-T-H-U apostrophe E with a half a check mark L, son of Milcah, M-I-L-K-A-H, the wife of Nahor, Abram's brother, came out with her jar on her shoulder, and the young woman was very good looking, a maiden, no man having known her, so no man had married her. And she went down to the fountain, filled her jar, and came up, and the servant ran to meet her, and said, please let me drink a little water from your jar. And she said, drink, my master. And she hurried and let her jar down to her hand, and gave him a drink. And when she had finished giving him a drink, she said, let me draw water for your camels too, until they have finished drinking. And she hurried and emptied her jar into the trough, ran back to the fountain to draw water, and drew it for all his camels. And watching her, the man remained silent in order to know whether YahWeh had prospered his way or not. And it came to be, when the camels had finished drinking, that the man took a golden nose ring weighing half a shekel, and 2 bracelets for her wrists weighing 10 shekels of gold. I wouldn't. That's just disgusting that you'd make people wear that crap. It's a tradition of men to do things like that. And said, whose daughter are you? Please inform me. Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night? And she said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, Milcah's son, whom she bore to Nahor. And she said to him, we have both straw and fodder enough, and room to spend the night. And the man bowed down his head and worshipped YahWeh. And he said, blessed be YahWeh, Elohim of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his loving commitment and his truth toward my master. As for me, being on the way, YahWeh led me by the house of my master's brothers. Then the young woman ran and informed those of her mother's house these matters. And Ribka had a brother whose name was Laban, L-A-B with a line underneath of it, A-N, and Laban ran out to the man to the fountain. And it came to be, when he saw the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's wrist, and when he heard the words of his sister Ribka, saying, thus the man spoke to me, that he went to the man and saw him standing by the camels at the fountain. And he said, come in, O blessed of YahWeh, why do you stand outside? I myself have prepared the house and a place for the camels. For the man came into the house while he unloaded the camels, and provided straw and fodder for the camels, and water to wash his feet and the feet of the men who were with him, and set food before him to eat. But he said, let me not eat until I have spoken my word. And he said, speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and YahWeh has blessed my master exceedingly, and he has become great, and he has given him flocks and herds, and silver and gold, and male and female servants, and camels and donkeys. And Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, my master's wife, bore a son to my master when she was old, and he has given to him all that he has. And my master made me swear, saying, do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell, But go to my father's house and to my relatives and take a wife for my son. And I say to my master, what if the woman does not follow me? But he said to me, YahWeh, before whom I walk, sends his messenger with you, and shall prosper your way, and you shall take a wife for my son, from my relatives, and from my father's house. Then when you go to my relatives, you are to be released from this oath, and if they do not give her to you, then you are released from my oath. And this day I came to the fountain and said, YahWeh, Elohim of my master Abraham, please, if you are prospering the way in which I am going, see, I am standing by the fountain of water, and when the young woman comes out to draw water, and I say to her, please give me a little water from your jar to drink, and she says to me, drink and let me draw for your camels too. Let her be the woman whom YahWeh has appointed for my master's son. I had not yet ended speaking in my heart. Then see, Ribkah was coming out with her jar on her shoulder, and she went down to the fountain and drew water. And I said to her, please let me drink. And she hurried and let her jar down from her shoulder and said, drink and let me water your camels too. So I drank, and she watered the camels too. And I asked her and said, whose daughter are you? And she said, the daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bore to him. Then I put the nose ring on her nose and the bracelets on her wrists. And I bowed my head and worshipped YahWeh and blessed YahWeh, Elohim of my master Abraham, who had led me in the true way to take the daughter of my master's brother for his son. And now, if you are going to show loving commitment and truth to my master, let me know. And if not, let me know, so that I turn to the right or to the left. And Laban answered Bethuel too, and said, the matter comes from YahWeh. We are not able to speak to you either good or evil. See, Ribkah is before you. Take her and go, and let her be your master's son's wife, as YahWeh has spoken. And it came to be, when Abraham's servant heard these words, that he bowed himself towards the earth before YahWeh. And the servant brought out ornaments of silver and ornaments of gold and garments, and gave them to Ribkah. He also gave costly gifts to her brother and to her mother. And he and the men who were with him ate and drank and spent the night. When they arose in the morning, he said, let me go to my master. But her brother and her mother said, let the young woman stay with us a few days, at least 10, then you go. And he said to them, do not delay me, since YahWeh has prospered my way. Let me go, so that I go to my master. And they said, let us call the young woman and ask her. So they called Ribkah and said to her, are you going with this man? And she said, I shall go. So they let go Ribkah, her sister, and her nurse, and Abram's servant and his men. And they blessed Ribkah and said to her, let our sister become the mother of thousands of 10,000s, and let your seed possess the gates of those who hate them. And Ribkah and her young women arose, and they rode on the camels and followed the men. And so the servant took Ribkah and left, and Yitzchak, Yitsh with a dot AQ, came from the way of Beer Leah Roy, BE apostrophe E with a half a check mark R, and then Lahai LAH with a dot AI, and then Roy RO apostrophe I. I'm just gonna spell that again, each individual one. So BE apostrophe E with a half a check mark, R is beer, and Lahai, I believe LAH with a dot AI, and then Roy, RO apostrophe I. For he dwelt in the south, and Yitzchak went out to mediate in the field in the evening, and he lifted his eyes and looked and saw the camels coming. And Ribkah lifted her eyes, and when she saw Yitzchak, she dismounted from her camel, and she had said to the servant, who is this man walking in the field to meet us? And the servant said, it is my master. So she took a veil and covered herself, and the servant told Yitzhak all the matters he had done, and Yitzhak brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and he took Rivkah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. So he had sex with her, and that's what made her his wife. And he loved her. Then Yitzhak was comforted after his mother's death. Sex is marriage. The word makes that very clear. Matthew 24. And going out, Yahushua went away from the set-apart place, and his taught ones came near to point out to him. And going out, Yahushua went away from the set-apart place, and his taught ones came near to point out to him the buildings of the set-apart place. And Yahushua said to them, Do you not see all these? Truly I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another at all which shall be thrown down. This is talking about the end times. And as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the taught ones came to him separately, saying, Say to us, when shall this be? And what is the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? And Yahushua answering said to them, Take heed that no one leads you astray, for many shall come in my name, in his name, not with his name or by his name, but in his name. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they shall lead many astray, and you shall begin to hear of fightings and reports of fightings. See that you are not troubled, for these have to take place, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and reign against reign, and there shall be scarcities of food, and deadly diseases, and earthquakes in places where that doesn't usually happen, of course. And all these are the beginning of birth pains. So all this is just the beginning of birth pains. Then they shall deliver you up to affliction and kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many shall stumble, and they shall deliver up one another, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise up and lead many astray. Yeah, those people who are like, you're going to be really prosperous. Yeah, in death. And because of the increase in lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. So because people will no longer follow the Torah, the love of many shall become cold. But he who shall have endured to the end shall be saved. And this good news of the reign shall be proclaimed in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end shall come. So when you see the abomination that lays waste, spoken of by Daniel, D-A-N-I apostrophe E with a half a check mark, L the prophet, set up in the set-apart place, he who reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Yehuda, Y-E-H-U-D with a line underneath of it, A-H, flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not come down to take whatever out of his house, and let him who is in the field not turn back to get his garments. And woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing children in those days, and pray that your flight does not take place in winter or on the Sabbath, for then there shall be great distress, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And if those days were not shortened, no flesh would be saved, but for the sake of the chosen ones, whose those days shall be shortened. If anyone then says to you, Look, here is the Messiah, or there, do not believe, for false messiahs and false prophets shall arise, and they shall show great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the chosen ones. So stop worshiping Baal God and Hail Zeus Christos, you chosen ones. Stop following in the ways of the nations. If possible, even the chosen ones. See, I have forewarned you. So if they say to you, Look, he is in the desert, do not go out, or look, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe. For as the lightning comes from the east and shines to the west, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. A-D with a line underneath of it, A-M. the son of Adam, talking about Yahshua Messiah. So he's going to come like lightning, like a flash of light, how it's there and it's gone. Boom, he's already here and gone. For wherever the dead body is, there the vultures shall be gathered together, and immediately after the distress of those days the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light, and the stars shall fall from the heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And when the sign of the Son of Adam shall appear and then the sign of the Son of Adam shall appear in the heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Adam coming on the clouds of the heaven with power and much esteem. Someone was saying, well, how do you know this isn't times from like the 1400s? Well, this didn't happen in the 1400s, I'll tell you that much. Of the heaven with power and much esteem, and he shall send his messengers with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his chosen ones from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. And learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that the summer is near. So you also, when you see all these, know that he is near at the doors. Truly I say to you, this generation shall by no means pass away until all this takes place. The heaven and the earth shall pass away, but my words shall by no means pass away. So even when there's a new heaven and there's a new earth, Yahweh's Torah will not pass away. But concerning that day and that hour no one knows, not even the messengers of the heavens, but my Father only. And as the days of Noah, Noah with a dot, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. For as they were in the days before the flood, eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and they did not know until the flood came and took them all away, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. Then two shall be in the field, the one is taken and the one is left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, one is taken and one is left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your master is coming. And know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Because of this, be ready, for the Son of Adam is coming at an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is a trustworthy and wise servant, whom his master set over his household to give them food in season? Blessed is that servant whom his master, having come, shall find so doing. Truly I say to you that he shall set him over all his possessions. But if that evil servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunkards, the master of that servant shall come on a day when he does not expect it, and at an hour he does not know, and shall cut him in two, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. HalleluYah.